Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I'll be showing you how to make the perfect pound cake without an oven. This cake was super buttery and it tasted so delicious. So if you'd like to see how I made this, keep watching and please don't forget to click the like button and also subscribe if you are not already. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first step is to add about 2 cups of salt to the pot, or enough salt to cover the surface of your pot, just as I have done. Now salt are inexpensive, so that shouldn't be any problem. Once that process is completed, you want to place a wire rack over the salt before covering the pot. But if you don't have a wire rack and you have a flat pan just like so, place it over the pot and then cover the pot and allow to preheat. You want to preheat this pot on your stove top, on your cooker top, or on your gas top on a medium heat. For example, the settings of my cooker is from 0 to number 9, so I'm going to be using number 4. Please do not preheat this pot on a high heat, because if you preheat on a high heat, the pot is going to get very hot by the time you are done mixing the cake batter, and that might cause your cake to burn. So moving over to the preparation, the first step is to sift the flour, and I am working with all-purpose flour. You can also use cake flour. In here I have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. To that I will add 1 tablespoon of baking powder and ½ teaspoon of salt. Once that process is completed, you want to go in and mix properly, just to make sure the baking powder and salt is not sitting on one side of the flour. In a mixing bowl, I'll be adding 150 grams of unsalted room temperature butter. Now for this recipe, what you need is soft butter, so make sure your butter is at room temperature and it is unsalted. But if you are using salted butter, then there won't be any need of adding salt to the flour. As you can see, my butter is soft, so make sure you are using a soft butter for this recipe. At this point, I will add 1 cup of sugar, but however, if you want yours a little bit more sweeter, then you can go up to 1¼ cup of sugar, but I think 1 cup of sugar is just perfect for this recipe. So now I'm going to be creaming the both together until it is very creamy and fluffy, and this process should take about 4 to 6 minutes. I wanted to do this with my electric hand mixer, but I said to myself, it's not everybody that has the hand mixer, so I'm going to be doing this manually. Alright guys, so this is how the butter and sugar should look when you are done. It should be looking very creamy and fluffy. So now we are moving over to the next step. So in here I have 5 large eggs, and we are going to be incorporating them one after the other. So now you are going to go in and mix this up until it is well incorporated, and then we move over to add another one. So you are going to continue the same process until you have exhausted or added the whole eggs one after the other. The next step is to add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. If you don't have vanilla extract, you can also add 1 tablespoon of orange zest for flavor. So once that process is completed, we are going to start adding our flour mixture and milk bit by bit, and I am working with 1 cup of whole milk. Now mix that in and then add a little bit of milk. Now you are going to continue the same exact process until you have exhausted the whole flour and milk. At this point, I'm just going to take a moment to scrape down the edges of my bowl just to make sure everything is getting mixed well. Okay guys, so at this point we are done mixing, and this is how your butter should look when you are done. So at this point, you want to grease any cake pan you are using with either butter and line with parchment paper, or butter and dust with flour, or vegetable oil and dust with flour. I'm going to be greasing mine with vegetable oil and dusting with flour. This step is very important because by doing so, you are creating a non-stick environment for the cake, and this will ensure that your cake comes out from the pan after baking. At this point, add some flour to the pan, shake it around just to make sure that the flour touches every corner of the pan, and then pour out the excess flour from the pan. So after greasing and flouring your pan, it should look like so. Alright, so now we are ready to pour in our cake batter. So now that we have our cake batter in the pan, let's move over to check our preheated pot. So the pot is perfectly preheated and ready to welcome our cake batter, and this pot has been preheating for exactly 15 good minutes. At this point, I'm going to be placing another pan over the first one. This step is totally optional, but I just don't want this cake to burn. So once that process is completed, I'm going to carefully transfer my cake pan to the pot. I will cover and allow this to bake for exactly 1 hour 30 minutes. Please do not be tempted to open this pot before that time. But before then, I'm going to be increasing my heat temperature to number 5. Remember, I was preheating at number 4, so now I'm going to be baking this cake at number 5. Okay guys, so this is very important. My baking cover pot has no hole on it, but just in case yours has a hole, just like this one I'm showing you, please ensure to cover with a kitchen paper towel, with a toothpick, with a foil paper, or anything that ensures heat not to escape through this hole, because you want your cake to bake perfectly. I have been baking this cake for exactly 1 hour 30 minutes without opening the pot. At this point, I'm going to be inserting a toothpick on it. If it comes out clean, then our cake is ready. If not, I will allow it to bake for additional 5 to 10 minutes. Alright, so the toothpick came out clean, meaning our cake is ready. So we are done baking. Our cake is ready. So I'm just going to carry it out of the pot. So now we are going to let this cool down a bit, let's say 5 to 10 minutes before taking it out of the pan. Okay, so this is about 5 minutes later. I'm going to try take the cake out of the pan. It is still quite hot, so I'm going to go get my kitchen towel. Now you can transfer this to the wire rack and allow it to cool down completely, but because of my presentation, I don't want to transfer to the wire rack and then later transfer back to the plate. So I'm just going to transfer to the plate and allow it to cool down completely. Alright guys, so our cake is out from the pan, and you can see why it is very important to grease your pan. So our cake came out perfectly from the pan. So here is a closer look of our cake. So beautiful. The cake is now perfectly cool, so it is time to slice the cake and see what it looks like in the inside. So there you go guys, perfect pound cake. Beautiful golden on the outside with perfect crumb on the inside. This cake was so buttery and it tasted so delicious. If you like this video, please be sure to click the like button, subscribe if you are not already, share this video with your family and friends, and let them know they can also make cake without an oven. So I want to say a big thank you to you all for watching. Remain blessed, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye for now.